It is hour number 2, straight ahead, right here on Jocks. Three-man front, Pat, Conrad, Landrum, Molly with you until 2 o'clock. A lot of discussion, obviously, over the weekend and, of course, yesterday's program about the Auburn Tigers. Another disappointing loss in SEC play. The offense looking anemic. Let's go down to the loveliest village on the plains. Jason Caldwell covers the Auburn Tigers for Auburn Undercover, part of the 247 Network. He joins us now on the Higginbotham hotline. Jason, I want to start with something you wrote over the weekend. I wanted to dive into this first with you because you had a very interesting perspective being there, looking at the All-22, kind of looking at Marcel Reed and the trust that he has with what's going on offensively and what you saw with Jackson Arnold. For those that did not read what you wrote this weekend, can you kind of go into that with the comparisons of what you saw with your own eyes between those two quarterbacks?
Yeah. Obviously I'll preface everything by saying, look, the last 2 weeks have not been all on Jackson Arnold, and look, you got to help him out too. And I don't think Auburn has run the football nearly enough to take some of the pressure off him and the offensive line. But I also think that there's been times where the ball should have been out of his hand. Hugh Freeze said that after the Oklahoma game. So look, about 50% of those are on Jackson Arnold. I felt like the same thing was true Saturday. I thought there were times when the ball should have been out of his hands, and there weren't as many plays down the field that were available. But I thought there were some throws to be made Saturday that just didn't get made. And so Marcel Reed, I thought, it's kind of the term I think about when I think about quarterbacks. I think about great quarterbacks throwing their guys open, and that's kind of the word I use for Marcel Reed. I thought he did a good job of throwing his guys open. And I thought Jackson Arnold was waiting for his guys to be open. And the speed of this game is too much and too fast for me to think that you can wait on those guys. So you're not. When I think about like if Mac Jones, he was able to wait for guys to be open because you had so many guys everywhere, and there also wasn't a lot of pressure. But they also ran the football, and he was able to pick and choose who he threw the ball to. Most of the time, you're going to have to make split-second decisions. You got to do it quickly. And it just feels like that Jackson Arnold is not trusting his guys. And Hugh Freeze has said, all the time, multiple times, in one-on-one situations, you got to trust your guy to go make a play. And I felt like the last 2 weeks that he's held the ball too much, trying to wait for guys to be open. There were a couple of times Saturday, too, when I think the receivers should have throttled down a little bit in between some zones to give him a better window to throw the football. But I thought there were some opportunities there, even with the lack of running game, to make some plays against Texas A&M.
Jason, how much have you been able to gather, because you're around that program as much or more than anybody else, how much of this was an issue with Jackson Arnold and some of the issues that he's experiencing on Saturdays in the preseason leading up to the opening kickoff? Was this a point of concern, or is this kind of a revelation to the coaching staff?
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes because you feel like that's the case a lot of times in preseason camp because your defense sees the offense so much that man, it's going to be tougher to make some of those throws, to do some of those things. So sometimes you kind of pass it off a little bit, and I probably did some of that too, knowing that, look, the defense is pretty good. They've seen these guys a bunch. It's going to be really hard to make a ton of plays offensively. So you kind of give it a pass because you don't know, okay, when you get against another defense, you're going to be scheming, you're going to be doing some of those things. So it was there, but I think you kind of toss it away a little bit because you know that you're not really scheming, game planning, and doing some of those things. So, I think it's a continuation of some of the things that showed up in the preseason, but you also in the back of your mind going, look, that happens a lot in the preseason, and then when you get into a game situation, you're able to do your things, run your offense, but that just hasn't been the case. It's kind of the same thing. They play two good defenses. I still don't believe that Oklahoma and Texas A&M are as good defensively as what we saw the last 2 weeks. I think they're solid. I think they're good teams. I don't think those teams are teams that I think about are just dominant defensive football teams. I think Auburn helped them out a whole lot.
So, and I'm sure this is just as head-scratching for you, Jason, as it is for the rest of us, but it was a problem in times the last couple of years. Then you have the problem resurface in the Oklahoma game. Hugh Freeze comes out after the game and says, hey, I think we may have gotten away from running the football too much or too early in that Oklahoma game. and then you respond with 8 carries to your tailbacks against Texas A&M. Why is it? Is it just Hugh Freeze refusing to run the ball? Do they just not think that what they're seeing defensively is going to allow that? Can you kind of elaborate or give some clarity on what that issue is, why Auburn refuses to seemingly hand the ball off to their talented running backs?
Yeah, I wish I could. I don't know. I have the same question. I have the same questions too. Because here's the thing: it was 8 carries Saturday. 4 of those carries to the tailbacks were with 15 yards or more to go on either second or third down. So basically, 4 of the 8 were just to get you in field position to either punt. One of them was to kick a field goal or to try to make it a more manageable on third down. So I'm saying that really only 4 true carries, in my opinion, for the running backs on Saturday. That can't happen. Especially, and I've said, look, and it's kind of cliche a little bit, but if you're an RPO system, then you got an R sometimes. Like that stands for run pass option. If you don't run it, that's not an RPO. That's just a PO. And that's what it felt like. That's what it felt like. Saturday it was, and hey, you're behind the chains a bunch, but some of that's penalties, not all of it. I mean, they threw a lot on first down. And then, there were a lot of 1- and 2-yard passes on first down Saturday, and you're still sitting there at second 9 after throwing the football. And so that's the question. I don't know. And I think some of that, I think teams are baiting a little bit. And it feels that way to me, showing some pressure looks to make you think you need to throw the football, and then they back off, and you're throwing it, but they're still flooding the zone. And sometimes I think you just got to run the football and go, hey, look, I don't care how many people are up there. It's 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1. A first down gets us a first down, and we can stop the clock. Sometimes you just got to run it, and for whatever reason, they're not doing that.
Talking to Jason Caldwell for Auburn Undercover, joins us here on Three Man Front. So let me ask you about the offensive line play, because we were told in the offseason and leading up to fall camp that this was going to be, obviously with the seniority in regards to the number of snaps these guys have played. You bring in Xavier Chaplin. He has been kind of the poster child, so to speak, of some of the problems they've had the last 2 weeks from the offensive line perspective. Just your thoughts on with the offensive line and especially Xavier Chaplin.
Yeah, obviously they haven't played well. But I think it's really hard to play offensive line when the other team knows you're going to throw the football. And they just basically pinning ears back. And so I think that's what we've seen a lot of last couple of weeks. Going, look, these teams are just teeing off. When they ran the football early in the season, hey, Baylor, Ball State and South Alabama are not Oklahoma and Texas A&M. But even Saturday, the few times they ran the football, they still average almost 5 yards a carry. So I think this team can run it. I think they can do things like that. But, man, if you ask somebody to throw it, and drop back 50-plus times a game, you're going to give up a lot of pressures. And so I think the combination of that and then Jackson Arnold, in my mind, holding the ball too long makes it look like these guys, to me, are worse than they've actually been. I just think a lot of it is sometimes you don't have a chance, and it's felt like that a couple of times, early in this season especially.
Jason, you can't speak for Auburn Athletics Director John Cohen or any other influential people that make those kinds of decisions, but how much more added pressure do you believe that there is on Hugh Freeze, his security at Auburn, when you've got a defense that's playing well enough to win and an offense that looks as dreadful as it has for most of the time in these last 2 games?
Yeah, I don't know about job security-wise, but I think this is the first, in my mind, this is the first real pressure that's been on Hugh Freeze since he's been here. I think people understood the first 2 years. Look, they just were left with a mess. And now you look and you've gone out and you've got a roster that I believe is as good as anybody in this league. Now, you might not have his depth, and you've got some new pieces, but, I mean, look, they've played dreadful on offense the last 2 weeks and have had a chance to win both games against pretty good teams on the road. That's a roster that can go compete. And so this feels like the first real pressure situation in my mind that, hey, at 2 years, it's year 3. This roster has been constructed to go win, maybe not a national championship, but got to start winning some of these games.
So, Jason, when you hear after the post-game press conference or during the post-game, You hear Hugh Freeze say, during the bye week, we're going to take this time to reevaluate every facet of the Auburn offense. What does that mean to you when Auburn takes the field against Georgia in 2 weeks? Does that mean, are you giving somebody else a look at quarterback? Are you changing the rotation on the offensive line? Are they going to go out there and hand it off 30 times in that Georgia game? When you hear that from the coach after the Texas A&M loss, what does that mean to you? What do you think that means for the next time we see Auburn on the field?
Yeah, I don't know. Other than I know this is when you self-scout a whole lot. So to me, and I've said it, and I wrote it earlier, the first thing you have to decide is who you are. And I think that's the thing right now through 5 games. You don't know what this Auburn offense is. Are you run first? Hey, we're going to play that way, get in third manageable situations, and let Jackson Arnold be able to use his legs, which I think is his strength. Or we're going to try to spread the field and get the ball to the wide receivers. Because I think if you do that, then you're going to have to change some things what you're doing, whether that's giving Ashton Daniels and Deuce Knight a look. It just doesn't feel like to me that Jackson Arnold is designed to be that type of quarterback. I think he can win, but I think it's running the football, being physical, getting downhill, letting him use his legs, those kind of things. And I don't know that this offense right now, the way it's constructed, is going to go in throwing it 45 times a game. And so I think the first thing you got to figure out is what you are, who you are. Then that might determine, who it is that's part of that. But I think you look at the offensive line. I think there's some young guys that hey, worth a look. Kale Ellis and DeAndre Carter, some of those guys. Tall Miller's a guy that started games that could play tackle or guard. I think you look at everything across the board, and heck, that may include what you're doing offensively too, in terms of, planning, scheming, play calling. I think you have to look at everything right now.
Jason, I know this might not be a very fair question because I know you were traveling and probably didn't get to see anything live. I'm not sure if you went back and watched much of the Georgia-Alabama game, but since Georgia is Auburn's next opponent, I was just curious your thoughts on the Bulldogs and what kind of problems they could present for Auburn next weekend.
Yeah, they'll be talented, and that's the first thing you look at. It'll be a talented roster, but I as I sit here today, and I may be proven wrong, and there'll be some teams that kind of rise to the top. I still don't feel like there's a dominant football team in the league. I think there's a bunch of good teams. Feels like Kentucky's on the bottom end of maybe not so good. We saw Mississippi State push Tennessee to the brink. Auburn hadn't played really well offensively and has been within a touchdown of both Oklahoma and Texas A&M on the road. I think there's going to be a bunch of close games, a bunch of teams that are beatable, but I think you can, one of those where you can legitimately, you can beat anybody, you can lose to anybody. And so I think if you can find some offense, it's a very winnable football game at home against Georgia. Obviously they're talented, but they've had, early on issues defensively against Tennessee for a half. Alabama really played well offensively the whole game, converted a bunch of third downs. I think Georgia's a good football team. They'll win a bunch of games, but I think it's a very winnable game at home if you're Auburn.
If you had to guess moving forward, if Jackson Arnold continues to have shortcomings in certain areas, how short will the leash be for Jackson Arnold with Hugh Freeze and that coaching staff, and who would replace him?
Yeah, I don't know. You would think that it would start to be a little shorter leash, but I think you got to figure out, first of all, offensively, what you're doing, and you got to be better on the offensive line. Can quarterback play help that some too? Yes. I don't know where you go. Ashton Daniels is a guy that has a ton of experience. Deuce Knight is the freshman that has a ton of talent. Ashton is probably more of a runner. And so if you're like, hey, you're going to want to be physical, run the football, you might see him. But if you decided, hey, we got to get these wide receivers involved, Deuce Knight's probably the best thrower of the bunch. So, would you want to roll him out there after a week against Georgia? I don't know that that's the greatest thing, but, hey, we saw, as I was sitting there Saturday, I said, I distinctly remember a quarterback being pulled at halftime of a national championship game for a talented freshman, and it working out okay. So,
it did.
Yeah.
And so, maybe you say, look, we're going to ride with the talented guy, take the mistakes that come along with it, but I don't know, a lot to think about over the next few days for sure.
That is Jason Caldwell. You can follow his excellent work there at Auburn Undercover, part of the 247 Network. Jason, always appreciate your time. We hope to catch up with you again very soon.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Whether it's Major League Baseball playoffs, the NFL, college football, or live music, no better place for sports and music than the Fennec. The Fennec's your front row seat to the best entertainment with the massive screens, explosive sounds from every seat in the house. The experience is bigger, brighter, and bolder. They got a new restaurant menu, certainly we're cheering for. Wings that win MVPs and wood-fired grilled burgers that are stacked like your favorite fantasy team. The Phoenix got a new 6-day schedule that includes live acoustic acts Wednesday through Friday, live bands on Fridays beginning at 10, and then Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays dedicated to sports. No live music to get in the way. You got to check it out. It's the Fennec. Great place. Watch sports, listen to music, eat dinner, and just have fun. Can't wait to see you there at the Fennec, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park.
When we come back, we will continue with your phone calls, 1-800-239-WJOX, the Courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. We're live at Social Taco. Crowd is starting to swell here at the Taco Terrace, so come on up and see us and get a seat while you can. This is Three Man Front on Jocks. It is 11:20. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front live at Social Taco. 1-800-239-WJOX is the number. And, we always talk about the chicken feathers here. Did you just order
They're
some?
the best. No, I didn't. I'm going to go
What are
order
you
some
doing
right now.
What are you doing? Please.
Golly, he really just got up and left the table.
Yeah.
He is a rookie.
And he almost
Look at him
tripped in his
run.
Birkenstocks.
Look at him run. Little dainty run.
Wait, are his
doing?
toes open?
Yeah, they're open.
Oh,
Molly.
at a restaurant?
Yeah, but he's wearing a collared shirt, so he's kind of canceled it out.
Molly's making fun of your open.
You're wearing open-toed shoes?
What's wrong with that?
Ugh, just
You're at a
people
restaurant,
People
man.
eating.
Is that weird? I wear open-toed shoes 90% of my life.
It's just the fact it's your feet.
Might as well have worn a tank top.
Come
It's
on,
still
lug
propped your
nut.
arm
What
over
are you
there.
doing,
Warm
lug
outside.
nut?
I'm wearing a collared shirt, so that
You
cancels
are wearing
it
a
out.
collared shirt.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Bama Hater joins us here on Three Man Front. What's up, Bama Hater?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Everybody doing all right?
Yes,
We're
sir.
doing great.
Oh,
How
yeah.
are you today?
Hey, I can't complain. But what else do you expect from a guy that brushed his teeth with a toothbrush that brushed a donkey's teeth?
Hey, they didn't tell me about the donkey cheek.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love
Hey,
it.
man. Let me tell you guys something kind of funny. Since I heard that, Tuberville is running for governor and Feinbaum might be leaving ESPN to run for Senate. I think I'm gonna throw my hat in for Congress then. So
There you go.
if they can
Do
make
it.
it, I can make it.
Yes.
Do it. Absolutely.
Are you going to run by your radio moniker or by your actual name?
I mean, it doesn't matter at this point because what they're doing in Washington, D.C., hell, I can just give them Conrad's name. I can go up there as Congressman Little Lugnut.
That's right. Lug
The
nut.
distinguished gentleman.
Hey, man, this is what I wanted to talk about. Now I'm going to shock some of these people on the airways and probably you guys, too. I'm going to give Alabama some credit.
What?
I'm going to give them credit. Yeah, I'm going to give the OC some credit for the first half because he had, the Georgia defensive coordinator pulling his hair out because he couldn't stop absolutely nothing in the first half. So I got to give him credit for that. They earned that. Yeah, but the second half they scored no points. And once again, Captain Kirk, Clark Kent, Super Mario, Mr. What can I call him? I know Kirby Dunn once again showed his ugly head and gave Alabama an early Christmas present once again. And I just can't understand it for the life of me why it keeps happening. But, for some reason, Alabama has his number.
Yeah, they certainly seem to, Bama haters. So for this weekend, are you taking Vanderbilt plus the 10.5? You think they're going to cover and upset Alabama this weekend?
I don't know about, covering the spread, but once again, I'm going to make this announcement. If Alabama plays the Taliban, I have black flags in the stands, so you know who I'm rooting for.
Wow.
And hey, man, I don't know where all the overconfidence is coming from. I guess, after Alabama finally plays, and this time they beat a ranked team, you have the same caliber of quarterback equal to Castellanos, if not a better quarterback in Pavia. So if Alabama is, accustomed to not stopping a hurry-up offense and a mobile quarterback, I don't know where all the overconfidence is coming from.
I mean, look, you're not going to get it from me. I'll be the first one to tell you going in. This game's going to be tough for Alabama going into Saturday. I'm not banking on anything. I'll take a 1-point victory and be happy about that if that's how it ultimately plays out. But quickly, I do want to get your thoughts because y'all have a big one coming up because y'all are playing Florida State this weekend. How do you feel about your Hurricanes taking on the Seminoles this weekend, Bama Hater?
I'm not going to give a score prediction because Florida State has talent. And if we do what Kirby Smart didn't do, if we don't key on what Florida State's strong point is, we're going to get disappointed once again. You have to be able to stop or contain Castellanos as much as possible. Otherwise, we're not going to win the game. Kirby Smart, all he had to do was put more focus on the pass because Alabama hadn't showed that they're a powerful running team at this point. So why not, put all your emphasis or more emphasis on Bama's passing game? We're going to have to put the emphasis on Florida State's running game and containing Castellanos.
I think that's a great game plan. But you think Miami's going to – you're predicting a Miami victory?
Oh yeah, Miami will be still undefeated, man, and probably number 2 or 3 in next week's poll. Florida State, they don't. I think we're more well rounded this year than we have been in the past. The defense has improved, and that's what has us in the top 5 right now. The defense, the offense is just above average to me. They're going to have to step it up to stay high in the polls and finally get in the playoffs.
So if y'all lose to Florida State and Alabama beats Vanderbilt, should Alabama be ranked higher than Miami on Sunday?
Of course they should. I mean, I don't like to be rewarded for losing. Some teams, they're okay with that. Some conferences, they're okay with it. But if you lose, why should you get a reward for losing? You shouldn't. You should get rewarded for winning and winning only. I don't care. Well, you lost early. It's okay to lose early. No, it's not. If I lose in August and I lose in October, it's an L. That's just my mentality. Some fan bases, that's their excuse when their team doesn't cut it. Then they go back to it's early. We can lose early, but, we can't lose late. We all know that's not true. It depends on what team it involves.
Thank you, Bama Hater.
So let me ask you this about the ACC. Obviously, Miami is one of the best teams, if not number one right now in the ACC. But when it's all said and done, who will be the 2 teams, in your opinion, that will be fighting it out for the ACC championship? Miami and who?
I think it'll be Miami and Florida State.
Okay,
but once again, we never know what Virginia may do. They may pull another. They may pull a lot of upsets.
Georgia Tech.
I don't think Georgia Tech is going to be there this time. I don't.
Okay.
I think right now 1, 2, 3 is Miami and Florida State, and at this point it's a toss up for number 3. Virginia, hey, anything can happen, man.
Fair enough. Well, Bama Hater, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks a lot, and I hope to see you soon.
All right, man.
Take care. 1-800-239-WJOX.
That was a solid call from Bama Hater. I didn't disagree with anything he said.
Yep.
Doesn't happen often. That was good.
We will continue with your phone calls, text messages as well. Next hour, we'll go out to the wonderful state of Arkansas and find out what is next. As Sam Pittman was shown the door on Sunday, Bobby Petrino fired everybody on the defensive side of the ball yesterday. So we'll see if Bobby Petrino has a shot to get that job, as Ty Richardson will join us next hour. More of your calls and texts on Three Man Front. Goodness.
Oh.
Welcome back to Three-Man Front. We are live at Social Taco. Really nice crowd. I know it sounds like a broken record every Tuesday, but it is. Burr's here. His brother's here.
Travis, Keller,
Yep.
what's up?
BB's here. She just arrived. So, yeah, got a great crowd as always. You can come be a part of this each and every Tuesday here at Social Taco. You know, but when it comes to your roof, you need a company you can trust and a company that delivers on its promises. That's Abide Roofing, and their customers agree. Abide is rocking a perfect 5-star rating on Google, and here's what just a few of the homeowners that's used Abide, this is what they had to say. Abide Roofing is trustworthy, easy to work with. They work hard and have strong values. They're always willing to help, going above and beyond. If you're looking for someone honest, hardworking, and reliable, Abide Roofing is your team. They know the industry inside and out. Another customer said that they had an employee at their home on Memorial Day weekend repairing a leak on the roof. Abide Roofing puts its customers first. They believe in honesty, transparency, and follow through. When they give their word, they mean it. I'm walking example. They gave me their word, and the work they did on my roof, a full roof replacement, was incredible. So you need to be a part of the Abide Roofing family. Call them, 205-941-6223, or visit their website at abideroof.com. That's ABIDE roof.com.
Talked to Mike Griffith in the first hour. Also, Jason Caldwell. Interesting conversation that we had with Jason talking about Auburn, Hugh Freeze, just everything that we've seen in the last 2 weeks. When I asked him about, potentially down the road, what can you see? They're going to stick with Jackson Arnold as long as they can. If I was disseminating what he was saying, it was, and I agree, you've got to correct everything else that's going wrong on offense and try to get some sense of normalcy before you can, I think, do a deep dive into Jackson Arnold and what he's doing or what he's not doing.
I agree. And it's not all his fault. And my first question to Jason, because Jason wrote about this weekend, and I thought it was fascinating, because as you and I both know, when you are sitting in the stands watching a game and you can watch all 22, you have a completely different perspective than if you're watching it on television and you're not seeing the full composite of what it looks like in regards to, well, he missed that guy, he was wide open, or maybe you missed something, wide receiver didn't block properly, whatever the case may be. And Jason was pointing out how it just looked like that Jackson Arnold did not have that trust, whether it was on the offensive line or the wide receivers, to throw to a spot. He was waiting for those guys to get open as opposed to watching Marcel Reed throw to a spot, because he felt like he had the protection. I know you've got that internal clock in your head. If you're a quarterback, you got to get rid of it. But he stayed in the pocket. He threw to a spot, whereas it seemed like Jackson Arnold could never get settled because of the fact that the offensive line's been shaky, and maybe that rapport with those wide receivers are not quite what it needs to be for Auburn's offense to be what it needs to be.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense. And if you have ever watched some of those throwing lanes just from the sideline, from
it's
a
crazy.
Quarterback perspective,
Crazy how tight they are.
It would blow your mind.
Yeah.
And then it really makes you appreciate what quarterbacks do at any level of college football, but especially in the SEC when you're going up against elite defenders, elite defenses, and defensive coordinators that are constantly trying to make your life miserable. It would blow you away because they're throwing at air. They're throwing a lot of times 3 seconds before a guy breaks.
Well, and it's like, I mean, not to compare the SEC and the NFL, right? But we talk all the time about, well, there's not 32 good quarterbacks in the NFL. There's not enough for every team, right? And that translates to college football as well. Like, it's an incredibly difficult position to play. There's absolutely no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt about it. You just wonder for, and I think the frustrating thing if you're an Auburn fan, right, is you have the belief that the receivers you have are good enough to be in the right spot at the right time. It's just, why does Jackson Arnold not trust them to be there? Do they just not have the timing down? Because we heard them talk in the offseason about how that was really the area they had left to improve the most. It's shocking that you've got guys that, as we've talked about, potential first-round draft picks at the wide receiver position, and there's not that chemistry there with them and Jackson
But it
Arnold.
also comes back to setting up your guys to have success. And if we go into game plan and play calling, then you have to go back to the running game. All of the amount of runs, and it wasn't just Jackson Arnold, if you remember, against Baylor. That was Auburn running backs picking up chunks of yardage. Not saying you could do that against an Oklahoma. Not saying you could do that against a Texas A&M. But they showed against both of those teams that they could have success. And you weren't down 28-0 where you've got to drop back in the shotgun and throw it every single down. That wasn't the situation. So when all of the other things that could go wrong in a passing play, whether it's an incompletion, an interception, a sack, of all of those things, it would seem like maybe a good idea to run the football more. If it's 3 yards, it's better than a false start because a guy's worried about getting into pass protection when a guy's bull rushing him.
I mean, get the running backs more involved in the passing game if that's what you
need to do. It's better than
a
sack. Have positive yards and give Jackson Arnold some down and distance where he can have a little bit of an, if nothing else, equal footing.
Yeah.
And you brought it up earlier, right? There are some times where you watch the film and you just go, nobody has a chance in it. It doesn't matter if you had Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, whoever back there. They literally just don't have enough time to do anything because the offensive line breaks down so quickly. But it is something you look at and you go, just throw some quick passes. Like, if these are the things you need to do, we've seen teams that have taken – look at Vanderbilt last year. That was their bread and butter. They weren't throwing the ball down the field very often, but they found ways to get guys in motion, and I know that's something people have asked about with, like, Cam Coleman and these receivers. You're not moving them around pre-snap. They're just stuck on part of the side of the field, and they're running a route, and you're not getting as creative with the offense as it feels like you could with all the playmakers that you had. Find ways to get the ball in their hands, even if it's not a 30-yard pass down the field.
It looks this way, whether it's reality or not, but it looks like Hugh Freeze is being headstrong and he's being bullish and continuing to do the same things over and over just to prove that offense can do it. And
it's the definition of insanity. You're doing
right
the same
now,
thing over and over and expecting a different result.
I think that with this off week, it's certainly good because you got Georgia coming in, and what you've had on offense is not going to work. But figuring out that identity, because now we're 5 games into the season, as Jason said, we don't know what Auburn's identity is on that side of the ball.
Couldn't tell you.
Well, I mean, that's the crazy part about it. I mean, here we are almost to the midway point in the season, and you mean to tell me that you don't know what kind of offense identity you want to have?
Alabama's not a running team. They can run a little bit, but they're going to get it done through the air.
Absolutely.
No, they're going to win or lose based on Ty Simpson, and we all know that.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to the phones, 1-800-239-WJOX. I guess he snuck downstairs to put a call in, and that's Don Don.
Oh, I just saw him.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Don, I need some more napkins. If you're downstairs, can you bring up some more napkins?
Is there a line for the restroom?
Yeah.
Let's see here, guys. No, you're all good for the restroom, and I will bring some napkins. But guys,
Okay.
y'all been talking about it all morning and everything, and it's just ridiculous. How he's play calling is absolutely ridiculous. And I need a question I got for all three of y'all and Molly too. I know you only got 2 minutes to go in the game, but when you got 3rd and 1, just get a first down and get a new series of downs going. That was the biggest thing I had. He threw the ball on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. Just get a first down and try to move on. But you're right, one play that he never does run. When's the last time you saw him throw a screen pass to a running back?
Well, they tried the other day, and Jackson Arnold threw about a 90-mile-an-hour fastball 3 yards away. So they did not go back to it. But to be fair, they did call it. Or that was a check down that Jackson Arnold had.
Yeah, actually, he did have a check down to Cobb that gained about 20 yards. The 20-yard play and then the great catch by Singleton on that one play in the first half. That's the only time that we did anything at all, period. And actually, the funny part of it, guys, when we intercepted the ball and got it down the 2-yard line, I was worried about him gaining 2 yards to score. But
you're
anyway,
frustrated,
guys, okay, guys, I'll be back up for a minute.
Join us at Social Taco.
Yeah, come on up and see us. Taco Terrace.
But I think that describes it for a lot of Auburn fans, right? I'm sure there were a lot of people watching that game where you get that big interception and you go, I don't know if we can get 2 yards to punch it in. That should not be a question that you have in year 3 under an offensive mastermind, or so we thought, like Hugh Freeze.
All right, let's go to Walnuts next. I think I read that right.
How you doing, gentlemen?
What's going on?
I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Auburn situation. And, I'm just not as, bleak as everybody else is on the Auburn family or Auburn faithful. But can y'all help me out here to where, when Auburn played Oklahoma, right, We lost at Oklahoma. We lost by 7 points. Not worried about what the officiating or anything like that. I'm just saying we lost at Oklahoma by 7 points, and they were a top 15 team, correct?
Yes.
They lost to measly old, sorry old Auburn, and they beat Auburn. I'm sorry, at their home field. And they move up into the top. I think it was 7. I think they were 7 last week. This week, Texas A&M beats sorry old Auburn by 6 points at home. They move up in the top 7. So is something going on here to where they think that Auburn is someone that they're not, because they're not even a top 25 team that both teams beat, yet they get moved up in the polls so far? Can you help me out here?
Well, for the Oklahoma game, Auburn was ranked going into that game, so I think maybe that one helps you. I think it's more so, though, with the rankings in particular. I think it more so has to do with everybody else moving around them, and especially this week. You saw massive movement from, I think, Georgia dropped 7 spots, Ole Miss jumped up 9, LSU dropped 9. So I think it's a lot, too, with the pollsters not knowing what to do with a lot of these teams, and that's why you're seeing such big movement, even after your point of Texas A&M just beating an Auburn team that was unranked and maybe isn't that impressive right now.
I agree to that 100%, but it just seems like they're giving so much credit to beating this measly old Auburn team that we've been talking about is horrible for 2 weeks, and it just like they get shot up so much. And then last thing I want to talk about is, we sure didn't hear about the firing of Notre Dame's coach at all when they lost 2 games in a row, but here Auburn fans are ready to get rid of this guy immediately. Now they're bringing up the past and everything like that. Same guy we hired, So, stop the jokes going on, Auburn family, and I think we just need to see what happens. Enjoy the rest of your day, boys. Warriors.
Thank you. Thank you for your call. Appreciate that very much.
Thanks, Walnuts.
I do think a frustration, though, is, Notre Dame's coach, yes, they lost 2 games. They also played in the national championship game last year. That'll buy you some time. I don't think those are comparable situations.
No. But thank you for the phone call. We appreciate it, Walnuts. A lot of your texts are coming in. We will get to those texts as we continue. The chicken feathers are here on the table. Come and join us as we're live at Social Taco until 2 o'clock. And don't forget, 3 to 6, if you can't get in during the show, 3 to 6, half off happy hour on the patio and inside. We got a beautiful Tuesday here in Birmingham. We're glad you're with us. It's 3-Man Front, and you're home for college football and more. Jocks.
It's 11:48. Welcome back in. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks, 1-800-239-WJOX. We appreciate Mike Griffith joining us earlier in the program, recapping Alabama's win against the Georgia Bulldogs. Talk a little SEC football with him. Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover joined the show at 11 o'clock. If you missed that, you can download the Three-Man Front podcast. We will also go to the state of Arkansas coming up next hour. We will talk to Ty Richardson from ESPN Radio in Arkansas. We will have boots on the ground as he will tell us what's the very latest in regards to Arkansas and could they swing for a big guy in regards to replacing Sam Pittman and also later on Dimitri Ravenos. So we've got a jam-packed show, but Landrum, the text messages continue to roll in on this Tuesday.
Yeah, they always do. 205-834-9450. Good question there. Is there somewhere you can watch the all 22 versions of games from the previous week? I don't know if there's a public site that's out there.
No, there's not a public site. A lot of times you have to have a key or a code, someone that's got some coaching film that you can potentially look at, but I don't think that's readily available.
By the way, Hugh, this coming from an Auburn fan listening in North Carolina, way to duck, cover, and hide from fans not showing up for Tiger Talk. Put on your big boy pants and face the music. Did not realize that.
I didn't realize that either. The only thing I will say is that, it is a bye week, and so whether it's potentially –
they wanted to have the soccer coach on or –
Well, okay, so for example, last week Alabama was on bye. Kalen DeBoer did not do Hey Coach. He called in for a segment.
Right.
But he was not there at Baumhauer's doing the show because it's the bye week, so I wouldn't hold that
I don't hold that
necessarily against Hugh Freeze.
Right. I don't think Hugh Freeze not being there like he was ducking out of his responsibility or trying to not answer a tough question. I just think it's a bye week and schedules are different. Once again, there was no media availability.
Yeah.
Like he will be on the conference call tomorrow morning, but a lot of times that's what other SEC coaches do. When you have a bye week, there are things that you want to get behind closed doors and work on.
All right, Conrad, I don't know what the kids are using these days. Does that mean that's good?
Yes.
Okay.
Slaps is good.
Live in Tuscaloosa had social taco for the first time this past weekend. That stuff slaps.
Yeah, that's good. That means it's very good. And it is. I'm glad I can help you with the youthful slang.
Thank you.
It makes me feel not old because I still understand some of it.
Yeah. Darren from Tennessee, never will I ever bet on UK to cover. Shake my head. You didn't take them versus South Carolina, did you?
Oh, yeah, that's.
Oh, no.
We all learn at some point, and you learned this past weekend. But also, who's banking on a scoop and score and a pick six on like back-to-back plays for the South Carolina defense? That didn't do you any favors.
Next text reads, it's almost like Hugh Freeze is trying to get the buyout so he can go back to Liberty and play golf with no stress.
I would just say this. I don't think there's any coach that's actively trying to get fired. Now, you could disagree on that, but, I mean, at the end of the day, they're competitors and they have egos and they want their legacy to be a positive one. That's my opinion.
Tate says, isn't the point of having a good OC to keep the defense off balance? I think teams are daring Bama to throw because Ty was unproven. I think that the run game will pick up as teams drop out of the box to defend the pass because Ty is proving he can and will beat you.
It's very possible. If he, I mean, I'll tell you this right now, though. There were multiple throws in that Georgia game where I don't think there's a defense on the planet Earth that could have stopped some of those throws. When you're that dialed in, sometimes it just good throw, good route. That's going to be good coverage.
When Pat asked the question yesterday, the greatest surprise that I've seen has been Ty Simpson. I didn't think that Ty Simpson was going to be dreadful, but I didn't think he would perform near at the level that he has.
Well, and I think the most impressive part is that, but it feels like that is his team. Like, there's no doubt he is the leader of that team.
He's got swagger when he leads
everybody
them.
has bought into Ty Simpson. That is impressive, yes.
And he should feel comfortable.
Absolutely.
He's been around that program for a long time. He knows that offense as well or better than anybody else besides Ryan Grubb.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it.
He looks very comfortable.
And it was fair to have question marks about him coming into the season, but he has answered those quite well.
Jonathan said, for the first time ever, I actually agreed with Bama Hater. Thank you, Jonathan.
Yeah, Bama had a good call. He gave credit where credit was due to Ryan Grubb in Alabama.
Here's the question. So is Paul Feinbaum running for Senate or what? He's not decided yet, right?
He has not. He has until late January to make that determination, but there is absolutely the consideration is there.
I think a lot of people would put yard signs, said Feinbaum, on in their yards.
In terms of name recognition in the state, it'd be hard to do better than Paul Feinbaum.
What color would Paul go for his signs? You know, there's political strategists on certain power colors that you have with signs.
He'd go Tennessee orange, right, Pat?
What if he did like a house divided sign?
I think it would be crimson, orange, and blue.
Yes.
There you go.
At least the mock-ups I've seen.
Bama fan here. Dang, Bama fans are never happy. Conrad is.
You know, I told him what his slogan needs to be. It's something we used to use back in the old days. You can't spell Feinbaum without FU.
That's so good. Josh in Huntsville, who's a big Auburn fan, says, list of coaches that I would take a chance on over keeping Freeze. Kenny Dillingham, Ryan Silverfield, Memphis, John Summerall, Bill Clark.
Interesting. Okay.
You're never too early. Hot board candidates
We love a good coaching hot board on
For
three-man
where?
front.
for non-existent coaching vacancies.
Oh. I thought you were about to give us a certain school.
No, Arkansas's got their list. Ty Richardson's going to join us from Fayetteville coming up in the next hour. Who are they targeting? Can we get Bobby Petrino 2.0? And did he show up Monday to the athletic facility on a motorcycle? All these questions for Ty. They come in the next hour. We're live from Social Taco. Come and join us.
It is 12 noon, another outstanding crowd here at Social Taco. Come on by, be a part of it. We have so much fun every Tuesday from 10 until 2. We'll be here for a couple more hours. Stop on by, have an extended lunch. Love to see you here at Social Taco. Last night, did you watch any of the Monday Night Football doubleheader?
I watched a little bit of it.
Man, goodness, that was bad.
Oh, come on, guys.
Oh, shut up.
That was
Well,
bad.
one game was bad, but one game was fantastic, in my opinion.
Those ugly black uniforms, that's why Tyreek Hill got hurt, wearing those ugly black Dolphins jerseys.
Yeah, turn back the clock on Tua.
It's terrible.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes. 27-21, the Dolphins did win, but Tyreek Hill having surgery this morning, and the injury is very disturbing. Conrad sent me a picture of it immediately after it happened.
I know he did.
Yeah, that's how that exchange went.
Because you were eating.
Yes, I really appreciate him doing that. He slowed it down frame by frame, and then he did a screen grab. And
Do you think he'll ever be the same, Tyreek Hill?
I read something to Conrad a little bit earlier this morning that according to studies between 2020 and 2025, that injury that Tyreek Hill suffered, no player has ever come back and played another down in the NFL.
I mean, he tore every ligament in his knee.
It was bad.
It was a dislocated knee. It was an ACL tear. I mean, everything.
I don't want to compare the two, but I'm going to. A pitcher that throws really hard or a guy that runs really fast and can do all the crazy things that a human not supposed to be able to do that Tyreek Hill has been able to do. And that stress on those ligaments can only go so long, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, again, like you said, for a guy like him, the thing that makes him an NFL caliber player is his speed, right? That's always been his superpower, and if you lose that, it's going to be tough for him. He's only going to be 32 next year,
and
so
his
I'm sure he'll try
parenting
to come
ability.
back. But, well, that's what I was saying.
He's got more time with the kids now.
Well, he needs to play more. Well, sure.
Okay.
Some of them, I'm sure.
Now, I'm gonna take a look at this.
The ones that live at his home with
on
him.
the video.
You're going back and watching it again?
Let's see this.
God.
Yeah, I'm watching it because I'm watching.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all bent.
Well, the reason I'm watching it again is because I did not realize until Pat and Trustful just texted me.
Oh, that's a close-up.
Do you know who tackled him? Do you know who unfortunately was involved?
Oh, is that Mr. Moore?
That is Malachi Moore from Hewitt Trustwell High School in Alabama.
I lost in fantasy because of that tackle, Malachi. Come on.
Look at that.
Yeah, thanks, Pat. It's bent backwards.
Yeah.
Watch that again, Landry.
Oh,
Watch that.
I did not realize that was Malachi until you pointed that out.
Well, again, Pat from Trustwell, that's an assist to him. He texted me and said that
Thank you,
was,
Pat.
Thank
that
you,
was-
other Pat from Trustful.
That was Malachi Moore. The other NFL game, man, that was brutal too.
Yeah, that one stunk.
Yeah, Denver knocks off Cincinnati 28-3. Let's just face it, the Bengals are going to stink until maybe Joe Burrow gets back. And you don't even know if he's going to be back in December or not.
Well, and that's the point is, are they at a point where they even bring him back because they're still in playoff contention or not? At this point, probably not.
Also, yesterday afternoon late, the Division I Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee, they recommended a modification to the notification of transfer portal period. If you remember back, they recommended a 10-day window that was going to go into the effect at the very beginning of January. Well, they have now adjusted it and added 4 additional days. So it's a 2-week period as opposed to the 10-day period. Now, on October the 7th and 8th, the Division I Administrative Committee is going to meet, and they will officially vote on the recommendation. The transfer portal period would be between January the 2nd and January 16th. So, again,
So they're not making any adjustments for the playoff teams in terms of the portal.
Well, that would be.
Well, yes, they will have that
Yeah.
that typical adjustment for them if you're in
No,
the
no, but I'm
playoffs.
just saying, like, it's still going. The portal would still open
Correct.
while the playoffs are still going.
Absolutely.
On. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Which Ryan Day hates.
Yeah.
Yes.
And here's another interesting thing that the NCAA that came out yesterday, and I was unaware of this. Correct me, guys, if you've already heard this. But the NCAA reportedly has decided to allow former G League player Terry Darlin to play Division I basketball at Santa Clara. So this is going to signal a less rigid eligibility model going forward and one less likely to exclude athletes because they've already played professionally.
So I'm guessing he went to the G League right out of high school.
Correct.
Okay.
And so the decision could have implications that go way beyond the G Leaguers and into other groups of former pro athletes, including former players in the NBA, NHL, and MLB. These players bypass college as 18 and 19-year-olds who in their 20s or 30s eye NIL and revenue opportunities. They're going to be allowed to come play.
Oh, no.
ESPN says the 6'8", 21-year-old guard will be eligible to play 2 Division I seasons, with his 2 seasons in the G League apparently counting against his 4 years of NCAA eligibility. Darlin, who is from Central African Republic, played in 58 G League games from 2023 through 2025. He averaged around 8 points a game, 5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per game.
How do you do against the squadron?
I do not have that breakdown.
I mean, what kind of
So what do y'all think about that?
What kind of NIL are you getting at Santa Clara? I'm just throwing that out there. Like, if that's why you're doing this, you're not going to Duke to play basketball.
But how much money are you making in the G League?
Fair. I mean, fair.
Yeah, what was his signing deal that he got in the G League? So now you go to Santa Clara, clean up a little bit of NIL. I don't know what their NIL looks like.
So now you're going to have situations where people are going to okay, let's go. I'm going to go play minor league baseball for 2 years.
Minor league baseball seems like that would be probably we're going to see that with more frequency than any other sport.
Right, I agree. So, okay, I'm gonna go 2 years, and I'm going to play minor league ball. And
hey, this sucks. I want to go to Gainesville. They're going to give me a lot of money to go and pitch for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm blocked. I can't get to, I'm a AA guy. I can't get to AAA. I'm being blocked at that position. The
so
organization won't trade me. And so then all of a sudden, you find yourself going to Gainesville, like you said, and getting a very nice, sweet NIL deal.
Well, without getting too far into it, contractually with Major League Baseball, you sign that initial contract, then you leave. Then you go and you play really well in the SEC for 2 years. You get drafted again?
Yeah.
This is just confusing me. Okay, so the average G League contract or salary for a single year is $40,000. Why would you go to the G League out of high school instead of just going to college?
Signing bonus?
I guess, but maybe that just goes over my head a little bit there. But it just seems like if you had this opportunity, why would you not want to go to college initially? Maybe it is the signing bonus, like you said, play a year or two in college and then go and potentially play in the NBA as opposed to having to do a two-way thing in the G League.
I mean, were you guys aware of this? Because when I saw this, I was like, how did I miss this?
I don't.
The last time I heard about
like
Santa Clara
precedent.
basketball is when UAB beat them in the NIT. Go Blazers.
Yeah, I do not like the precedent that could potentially
I mean, just the fact that you could be a so-called air quotes professional and you went directly from high school to go play Major League Baseball or G League or whatever the case, or NBA. You could go play in the NBA.
Yeah, that's wild to
Play
me.
2 years in the NBA, then you come down and go play at UAB.
Yeah, and I mean, you hear about every now and then stories in like the Division III level of some 35-year-old dude that goes and plays golf or something. Oh man, who was the NBA player that he went and played college golf a couple of years ago after his career was over? And you hear little fun stories like that in Division III, but in the Power 4 or Division I level, I don't know about that.
Just another little fun fact. I mean, it was just like when.
So I'm sure Diego Pavia is going to go play in the CFL and then somehow turn that around and say, well, I went back, so now I can come back for one more year at college, right?
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Okay, so I do see where – because originally G League, they did not have caps on bonuses, but now apparently they do.
Okay. I was about to say, I just may not be familiar enough with how the G League operates financially for where that –
It said Jalen Green and Scoot Henderson – signed deals worth $500,000 annually when they were with the G League Ignite.
Okay. So I wonder if, and again, this would be going back a couple years in history, right? I'm trying to remember when the G League became more of a thing and when players were able to go out of high school again, because if that predated NIL, that would make sense, right? Before it was legal, you're going to take $500,000. But now, obviously, more lucrative to go to college in most examples. That's interesting.
Yeah, once again, it's just another, like, just...
What a world we live in.
Yeah. A pro player being able to go do that. But
see, you've got John Saber who just tweeted in. So you're saying LeBron could go back to college? I guess technically he never went, if that's the rule.
What if he had to go back and play for Akron?
Akron would be pretty good. That'd be pretty good.
Does he get them to the tournament?
Yes. Yes.
You know what? I will give LeBron a little bit of credit. I think that he could lead them to a MAC championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even at 40 years old, I think he'd be just fine.
Also, it is expected within the next 24 hours a formal announcement is going to be made that New Orleans has been awarded the 2027 CFP National Championship game. The governor of Louisiana is expected to have a press conference and make that announcement as early as tomorrow. So it's for the 2027 season, which means the Superdome would host the game on January 24th, 2028. That's about 8 years after the last time the national championship game was played there when LSU defeated Clemson. Isn't that crazy that it's been that long since the national championship game was in New Orleans? Miami is the host season for this year's national championship game. The 2026 season's championship will be crowned in Las Vegas. And On3 is reporting that Tampa is going to be in line after New Orleans for the 2028 national championship game, followed by Miami the year after that. So they're kind of lining them up, kind of like Super Bowls.
So I guess they played at Raymond James in Tampa?
Yes.
You get to have the pirate ship in the background?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be playing at Tropicana.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
I go to Vegas to watch college football national championship.
Those fan bases, whoever plays in that game, they will have a time.
Yep. So
that would be awesome.
It'd just be funny if certain schools made it.
Yes.
But it's just hard to believe
didn't take advantage of.
Correct.
It's been that long
BYU
about
versus
New Orleans.
Notre Dame.
You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, long time. Also today, this is an interesting note. Keep your eye on this. Virginia Tech's Board of Trustees, they voted 13-1 today in favor of passing a $229 million plan to increase funding for the Hokies athletic department for the next 4 years. If you break it down, it means that the football program is going to get an additional $13.5 million to spend.
Hey.
That'll turn the roster around, or that'll help.
Sure will. So they are going all in to try to compete with the likes of the highest in the ACC.
Or raise a lot of questions when your new coach comes in, has all of that talent, and doesn't perform.
Yep.
Also fair.
So, yeah. So, that's big. And we'll talk to Ty Richardson coming up at the bottom of the hour to find out, where the line of demarcation is going to be for Arkansas in regards to money. I keep hearing from other people around the program, they keep saying that Arkansas is going to go big here. Just like they did with Coach Cal.
Okay. I just, with Coach Cal and that basketball program, it's a little bit different. The coach has to agree to want to come to your school. And Arkansas football pales in comparison when you think about Arkansas basketball. It does. That's the reality. So if you want to open up the pocketbook and pay somebody $9-10 million, an elite coach, where are they leaving? What current situation are they leaving to come and take a job in Fayetteville in the SEC where it's an uphill battle?
I think that's a fair question.
I give credit to Arkansas if they're going to do it. If Hunter Yurchek's going to say, hey, we're going to throw the bank at you. If the Walmart folks, they're ready to get serious, but who is going to take that job?
Well, how about a rumor with an elite coach? I just came across this. This is interesting. So we're all familiar with Tony Vitello, the head baseball coach there in Knoxville. Apparently, he has been linked to an opening in Major League Baseball with the San Francisco Giants. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that would be something he'd be interested in? Do you think that would be maybe too big of a leap for the Giants? That's kind of surprising to me. Nothing against Tony Vitello. I think he's a great baseball coach.
I think that Tony Vitello would absolutely be interested in it. As far as the Giants, though, that'd be
a jump.
That'd be an attention getter, for sure. It'd probably make a lot of coaches in the SEC very happy.
Well, the Athletics' Andrew Baggerly, he wrote up an article on this, and I'll just read you an excerpt of what he wrote about Tony Vitello and the Giants. It says, quote, here's one out-of-the-box name who fits the high motor description, Tony Vitello, who transformed the University of Tennessee from a bottom feeder in the SEC into perhaps the brashest and most talented program in the country. It's possible that Tony Vitello and Buster Posey have already spoken as both were at Coors Field when the Giants played a 3-game series against the Rockies earlier in September. So something to keep an eye on there around SEC country potentially if you are a Tennessee baseball fan. Giants, great organization. That'd be a great opportunity for a lot of people. So we'll see if Tony Vitello
Still got orange in the color scheme.
is
You're
that
right.
guy. That's right. That's right. A little bit different when it comes to income taxes and things you're going to be dealing with in that state, but
Ooh. Better get ready for that.
it's a good organization, though.
I was watching that show that I told you about, and the chef owned 2 restaurants in San Francisco and 1 in Hawaii. And I was thinking, you picked the
The two most
expensive places
Yeah,
to run a restaurant of all things.
There's no doubt about that. This month only at Courtesy GMC, it's the kickoff sales event, and they're bringing the lowest prices in the Southeast. Get up to $15,000 off all new 2025 Sierra 1500, or go bigger with the Sierra 2500 HD, up to $12,000 off. And it's not just trucks. Drive off with the Acadia, brand new Acadia, up to $5,000 off in savings. The all-new 2025 Yukons, Yukon XLs, are $5,000 off. That means Courtesy has the all-new 2025 Yukon with Super Cruise. That's the hands-free driving, starting at $69,995. These vehicles go very fast, so take advantage of this incredible deal. Plus, every new GMC comes with the exclusive 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty there at Courtesy GMC, right off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville.
So what big-name college football, former college football, NFL coaches would take the Arkansas job? We'll discuss it. Ty Richardson at the bottom of the hour. 3-man front rolls on live from Social Taco in Homewood. Hosanna. Three-man front. We continue from Social Taco, surrounded by friends. Landrum, Pat, Conrad, Molly. A host of, what would you say, almost 30 people here in the terrace? Come and join us.
FSU Dave is here.
No, FSU Dave.
Oh, now the party can really start.
Yep. Makes the best shepherd's pie I have ever had. And I actually made it so good, I don't want anybody else's shepherd's pie. The minced lamb,
that's a pretty
ground
big compliment.
beef.
Yeah.
Why are you shrugging your nose like that?
I just don't like shepherd's pie.
Oh, I thought it was about something else. No, that it's money. If you
No,
like shepherd's pie.
me and Michael's had this conversation about shepherd's pie.
Oh, y'all don't like shepherd's pie. Okay. Arkansas, we're going to be talking with Ty Richardson. Sam Pittman out as head coach. The Best of Arkansas Sports has put out a fantastic coaching list.
No, those are our favorite.
Hot board candidates. Number one. Go ahead.
I was just going to say this because this just came out seconds ago. Is Rhett Lashley on that list?
Yes, he's number one.
Okay.
Let me guess, he's not interested in the job.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yep. He says, I haven't given it any thought because there hasn't been anything to give thought to. I'm really excited with what we're building here.
Yeah, that just means the Hunter Yurachek hasn't reached out to my guy yet.
I was about to say yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so number one on the Best of Arkansas Sports hot coach
board
seat list, whatever.
Rhett Lashley, right?
Rhett Lashley.
Yeah.
Number
okay.
one.
Okay.
Fran Brown, Syracuse.
I like Fran Brown.
Okay.
Don't hate it.
Makes his players run sprints after the game. I
Number
like it.
three, a name that has not gone away, but it's faded a little bit. Alex Golish, South Florida.
Okay. Yeah, that was a very hot one after week 2.
Number 4 on their list, Gus.
He's number 4?
Yeah. Number 5 on their list, Danny Mullen.
I saw I saw a media member in Arkansas that was kind of insinuating that Dan Mullen might be very interested in that.
Please
that
tell
job.
me they're going to throw the bank at Dan Mullen. And then John Sumrall after Dan Mullen.
John Gruden anywhere to be seen on that list?
I didn't put him down. I wasn't going to take the time, but yes, he was the last one on that list.
Okay, at the very bottom. I mean, there's a lot of. How about this? How about we phrase it this way? Out of all the people you just mentioned, do you think there's anybody on that list that, without a shadow of your doubt in your mind, just no, not interested, don't even have the conversation with me about the Arkansas job? Because I don't know if I hear any of those names and go, yeah, I don't think they'd be interested. I think all of them would have a conversation.
I don't think Gus wants to be a head coach anymore.
Well, okay, and that would be a good one because we brought it up, and I think you discussed it with his move from UCF was he just didn't want the responsibilities that come with being a head coach.
I think he just wants to call plays. I don't think he wants that job and go back to his home state. This is my guess. Maybe he's had a change of heart, but
so maybe
I think
more
he's very
likely
comfortable doing what he's doing.
So maybe more likely that they hire someone else, and maybe Gus would come on board as OC potentially, if that's.
Maybe so.
I mean, again, just throwing stuff out there.
Alex Golish, I think he would absolutely take it.
Yep, I agree.
John Sumrall is interesting because he could have the Kentucky job, but I think that John Sumrall's gonna be up some other big time jobs.
Well, we talked about that yesterday.
If and when they come open.
I was about to say, do you take the Arkansas job, or do you wait and hope that maybe a Florida opens or an Auburn opens or something like that?
Dan Mullen, if he wants to get back in the SEC and he's already tired of Las Vegas,
Do you think that would work?
No, I don't.
I mean, I know you don't have to recruit the same way anymore.
That's already a tough job.
It is.
I don't want someone who the knock on them is they don't like to recruit, or maybe they get a little complacent at times.
And I don't think that wins the press conference. I don't think if you go out and announce we're bringing in Dan Mullen that the Arkansas fan base is going to be hooting and hollering.
I think you would get a lot of why did you fire Sam Pittman to hire Dan Mullen.
I think that's fair.
So speaking of firing folks, we had Jason Caldwell on the show earlier where he believes for the first time ever Hugh Freeze is feeling pressure over the course of the next few games in regards. He was not proclaiming that his job is in jeopardy. I personally believe the next 2 games will decide potentially his future. That's my words. That's not Jason's.
Well, that's your words. Now Landrum's words. I believe that too.
Okay. So that's coming from us. But a writer for USA Today, he has gone into print and he has written the following. Matt Hayes from USA Today, he says, Hugh Freeze says the product at Auburn is unacceptable, and he's going to evaluate everything. If that doesn't make you feel good about a coach that's wasting the best defense in the SEC and 2 NFL first-round draft picks at wide receiver, or has 3 different coaches calling offensive plays during games, maybe this will. Auburn has historically fired coaches for less, and far more important, Auburn has no shame when hiring coaches. If you'll hire stained and discredited coaches like Bruce Pearl and Freeze, surely you'll throw unthinkable cash at Urban Meyer to see if one of the greatest coaches of our generation wants one more shot at the SEC. So Matt Hayes goes on in this article basically saying that if Auburn wants to get serious, they need to go after Urban Meyer.
I'm not about to get into a debate over who did what and who has more of a checkered past, but it's a hard no for me.
Well, and who's to say that – look, I'm not a huge fan of Urban Meyer as the human being, but there's no denying that when it came to college coaching, he's one of the very best, certainly of my lifetime, to ever do it.
Mine has nothing to do with wins.
No, but do you even –
and
he's been out of the game
should.
for so long.
Maybe
do you have total faith that he could come back in and immediately take over a program and be back to where he was at Florida and Ohio State? I don't think that's a reasonable expectation.
I don't know. He's been really good wherever he's been, whether it's been Utah or Bowling Green or at
great
Florida,
track record in college.
At Ohio State. He's been great. No, I think that he would have success. Am I claiming that he's going to win a national championship if he went to Auburn? No. But I think that they would definitely win games. But, maybe Auburn, it's time to sell your soul. If people don't think you sold your soul to get Hugh Freeze, then, yeah, I think Urban Meyer could do it. I don't think the Auburn fan base as a majority would be a big fan of it.
See, if you're going to sell your soul for Urban Meyer, though, you would need – you would have to feel very confident, I think, that you were going to win a national championship.
Let me play devil's advocate. I'm asking you this question.
Yeah.
All right, you said sell your soul for Urban Meyer. What? So when you think of Urban Meyer, what is the first thing that comes to your mind in regards to – because using the statement selling your soul for Urban Meyer would indicate that Urban Meyer has done something against humanity. What is the negativity about Urban Meyer?
Oh, I just think he's shown to be a low-character person in a lot of instances and different mishaps.
I go back to the Zach Smith. It was Zach Smith, right?
Yep.
And turning a blind eye to domestic violence and abuse.
Okay.
You've got that. You've got evidence of him not being the most faithful in his marriage. You've got evidence of how he treated players and the things that he allowed to go on under his
Let's go
watch
back to
in
that
Florida.
last thing you just said.
Yeah.
What did you say about his marriage?
Oh, the things about him being out and flirting with other women publicly and being caught with other women.
But that didn't stop Auburn from hiring Hugh Freeze.
No, I think that's a fair point to make.
And it hasn't stopped, let's be fair, a lot of other college football programs from hiring their coaches. Theirs just didn't get caught.
Right. I guess I'm not being argumentative to either one of you. I'm just saying.
If you were willing to hire Hugh Freeze, why would that stop you from hiring Urban Meyer?
Absolutely.
No, and I think that's fair. That's a fair point.
It's just like.
I don't
think it matters anymore. I think every school, like Landrum just said, they have pointed out it's all about the W's. They don't care whether you're a saint or not. They don't care. But that's why when I hear certain people say, not you or you, but certain people say, well, if you sell your soul to get Urban Meyer, well, apparently Auburn and other schools have already sold their soul.
Yeah.
So what's
fair point?
What's the difference?
But I don't put hiring Bruce Pearl because he lied about a barbecue to the NCAA in the same boat as I do turning a blind eye to someone who is getting beat up in their marriage and not doing anything about it when you have the chance to do it.
No, or I don't think it's comparable to Hugh Freeze's situation at Ole Miss either. I think that's
or like what Jeremy Pruitt got caught doing at Tennessee. That's not the same. Right?
No, I agree.
But
I think you bring up a fair point of, what would stop you from that point. I guess my question would be, are you going to continue to go down that path and say, hey, we know you weren't a big fan of Hugh Freeze when we brought him in, and it didn't work out. So now here's Urban Meyer, which he has a better track record as a coach, but I guess I'm thinking from the fan base standpoint of you're like, oh, really, we're going for this guy. But he's a winner.
We'll find out what's going on at Arkansas. Trey Richardson from ESPN Radio joins us next. It is 12:34. Let's go to Arkansas. Ty Richardson, ESPN Radio in Arkansas, joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Ty, just take us back over the last let's take it back to Saturday, about midway through that game in which Notre Dame just pummeled Arkansas in the first half. How quickly did you know that it was over for Sam Pittman?
Well, I didn't have an ice pick handy, guys, so I just banged my head against the coffee table. It was rough. That was the first game I went with my dad. My dad's a Baylor alum, but we used to go to games in Little Rock together. That's the first time I've been with him in Fayetteville in like a decade plus. And so for that to be our reunion was not exactly great. But you could tell, Pat, even before halftime that this thing was headed in the wrong direction. And, I mean, he didn't really the players and Sam Pittman didn't give Hunter Yurchek and Board of Trustees and Chancellor Robinson a choice. I mean, there was only one direction they could go after that route on Saturday.
What was this a belief that things just weren't going to get any better? Had he lost the team? What were the feelings there inside of Fayetteville and kind of what was going through the mind of Hunter Yurchek?
Well, based on Hunter's comments yesterday, guys, he felt like that they weren't competitive, and there was a little bit of loss in that locker room. You had players on social media bummed out, and it's like, okay, well, then why didn't you show some fight on Saturday? Like, if you love this guy so much, why didn't you stick it out for him? They quit. I mean, they got housed in that game. Notre Dame's not 43 points better than Arkansas. You can't convince me of that. They're better. I mean, that was clear, but they're not 43 points better. So it was just it was something that I thought was going to happen. Thought there was going to be a transition at some point. I think me and Pat were texting about it a few weeks ago. Just didn't know necessarily it was going to come this quick, fellas.
So, Ty, I know we'll get into the future of Arkansas and replacements and things like that for Sam Pittman, but for the rest of this season now, Bobby Petrino takes over there in the interim role. But you've got 7 games left, all against SEC competition. 5 of those 7 teams currently ranked in the top 25. I mean, what's a realistic expectation for the Hogs here as they approach the finish line? And is it 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins in SEC play? What's kind of the expectation now after letting Sam Pittman go?
Conrad, we kind of said it at a game and a half, and that might be a little high. I don't think they're going to lose every game from here on out, but it's really hard to find 2 wins on the schedule with road trips. Like, I'm going to Knoxville next week, and I'm not expecting them to win that game. I'll be in Baton Rouge and Austin. I'm not expecting to win either of them. They do have a 3-game homestead where you have Texas A&M, Auburn, which I know is on the brink right now, and then also Mississippi State to close that out. So you could maybe pick off the Bulldogs. They're playing. I mean, that's not a team you can overlook. So it's just the outlook's not great. But I mean, Petrino's in his press conference, it's like he expects to win. He expects to compete, and I'm just curious the standard of what's been and what changes here in the final 9 weeks and 7 games left of the season.
Ty, in regards to Bobby Petrino, it goes without saying the reason why he was dismissed, bringing him back as an assistant coach, now he's back in the main office. What kind of odds are you putting on him to be getting serious consideration once this comes to a head in regards to who Hunter Yurachek is going to go after?
Guys, nothing's off the table in college sports anymore. John Calipari's the Arkansas head basketball coach. Petrino's the interim. I mean, if you would ask me 2.5 years ago, it's like, hey, could you see Bobby Petrino, even when he was in College Station, coming back to Fayetteville? My answer was no. And then this happens after Arkansas's 4-8 season, and you're just like, man. And the number one question on people's minds, like, if Pittman fails, which unfortunately he did, could he take over as interim? The thought was, no, that's Travis Williams. They're not going to let Petrino in this role. And yet we're sitting here on September the 30th, here on a Taco Tuesday, and it's exactly what happened. So I still don't think that he's going to be Arkansas's head coach after this season because I think he has to do a lot. But, guys, I am done with making declarative emphatic statements about what I think is going to happen because the last 2 seasons with Petrino happened. So who knows at this point?
So if Arkansas is ready to go big and they're ready to back up that Brinks truck and they want to target the best, realistically, because you always keep it real, you're a lifelong Arkansas fan. What kind of coach, what kind of names would that job attract with everything that goes with it, the league you play in, and now the nature of the transfer portal, NIL, and the whole ball of wax?
Later, you're going to have the Arkansas connections, like Rhett Lashley, who was asked about it either today or yesterday. You're going to have Dow Loggins at Appalachian State, Barry Lundy up in Champaign, Illinois. Then you'll have the names, the young guys that people like Sumrall. Like he's an attractive name that people are really looking at. I know Jeff Traylor's name's been tossed out there. I mean, there's guys. I think it's going to be someone we don't necessarily expect based on how the Cal thing went. According to, I think it was The Athletic, Jerry Jones was pushing for Lashley being at he's in Dallas, the Arkansas Springdale connection and everything. So I just tend to think it's going to be someone that's out of nowhere. I believe this job is more attractive than it was in 2018, or excuse me, following the 2019 season when Sam Pittman got offered and accepted that job. The guy's just not better in Florida, and that job's coming open. The Auburn job can come open. It's not better than Auburn, even with Alabama in the stadium. I'm an Arkansas homer. It's not a better job than either of those SEC schools. It's better in Kentucky. So I think you have to factor in, like, what other jobs come open. Florida for sure. Auburn at least is a possibility. And those coaches would rather be in Auburn and also Gainesville than I would think Fayetteville.
So you're saying, given the choice, if Rhett Lashley could go back home to Arkansas or Auburn, you believe that he would take the Auburn job or just stay put?
I do. He's got the Gus connection, which is always kind of an interesting dynamic when it comes to this position of head coach at Arkansas. I will be honest, if Gus Malzahn, I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but if he had a sit-down conversation with Rhett and Rhett was mulling over those two possibilities, I bet Gus is telling him to go to Auburn because, like, listen, I've been to game days at both places, and Auburn hasn't been good the last few times I've been. And I love Fayetteville. I'm a diehard Arkansas guy. But if you look at those two-game atmospheres between Jordan-Hare and Fayetteville, it's not close. The better one's in Auburn. If you look at the talent in the state, it's Alabama. I know you're second fiddle to the Crimson Tide, but it's still better even with being second place in that state. Well, you just won a national championship in 2010. You got to one in 2013. I know they haven't won as many games as Auburn fans have liked to lately, but there's just better history. And I don't know what the money situation looks like in Auburn relative to Fayetteville, but at least from the outside looking in, it seems like there's more of an investment there than there is here. But maybe this jolt is what Arkansas big money needed to say enough's enough.
Okay, so I'm glad you went there, Ty, because that's where I wanted to go with my next question is, when you hear Hunter Yurachek, he comes out and says he doesn't think Sam Pittman had the resources that were necessary to compete in the SEC, and him openly admitting that after just firing Sam Pittman a couple of days ago. Whoever it is that takes this job and is the next head coach of Arkansas, what can they expect, do you think, in terms of those resources, the financial backing that they're going to get to try to turn this program into something that's competitive in the SEC?
Conrad, I think the idea is fans that have deep pockets in Northwest Arkansas, Central Arkansas, wherever, let's come together and figure this thing out. Hunter Yurachek trying to urging them on. It's like, hey, we need this in order to get where we want to be. And to me, I think the big money across Arkansas saw Sam as not giving them the return on their investment. Faucets were getting shut off. They were sick and tired of one-score losses and various other things. So regardless of who it is, you at least want to appeal to a fan base that, again, per GDP is not high. I think it's like 49th in the United States. But there is big money in Arkansas. And if you can hit the right buttons, then you have a situation. You're never going to have what you have in Tuscaloosa or Athens or Baton Rouge. But you can have a program that wins 7, 8 games a year, and every once in a while they win 9 or 10, 4 or 5 years, and that's just what fans want. It's not the same expectations as it is in Tuscaloosa or Auburn. It's just not.
Final question, Ty. In regards to NIL in Arkansas, Hunter Yurachek was very quick to point out multiple times, whether it was a touchdown club in Little Rock, whatever the case may be, about how the funding is going. Has that been ramped up? And whoever's the next head coach, is he going to have a nice coffer of money to be able to budget to try to go out and try to put himself in a position to compete?
I think so, Pat. Arkansas recently lost a recruiting staffer to Auburn, and they have one of the worst budgets when it comes to recruiting in the SEC, and that's apparently on the table to get revamped. Hunter Yurachek has presented something to Chancellor Robinson, and then also in addition to that, like you're talking about the NIL, that sounds like that it's trending in the right direction, or at least that's what they're wanting it to do. Because let's face it, guys, Arkansas has had 5 head coaches in the last, either interim tags or whatever, maybe 6, but it's not exactly the most appealing job in college football, especially with the ones that are coming open. So you have to attract coaches different ways, especially with lackluster recruiting in state, and you do that with a surplus of NIL, which I think we're going to have more now that Sam Pittman is out the door, and people feel like their return on their investment could at least be greater. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to pan out to that, but at least that you could be heading in the right direction there.
It's always a fun time, right?
Oh, it's great. Hey, before we let you go, Ty, I do have to ask you something that apparently is being reported at this hour by Brett McMurphy from On3. He is reporting that SEC Football Media Days in 2026 is going to be held in Tampa, Florida. Will you be there?
Yeah. I want to be there. I hope I see all three of you guys there, and we're going to have to plan a golf round either that Sunday or that Friday after if we can convince WJLX to let y'all stay an extra day. And there's some great, man, we had a great golf trip there about a year and a half ago. It is it's a cool part of the country. But guys, it's going to be hot, so bring some sunscreen, please.
So what do you think? So it sounds like you're in favor of the Tampa SEC Football Media
Tampa's
Days.
never had a day over 99 degrees. Do you know that?
Yeah. It's all that bay wind.
You got to look at it glass half empty, or glass half full, I should say. There's a bar down there called McDinn's, which is like one of my favorites.
So, Ty, it's about the golf
Ty.
and the bars.
I thought he was going to go ballet, but yeah.
There'll be some work get done. I mean, Conrad, listen, I made a mistake 2 years ago not going to karaoke, and then Conrad didn't show up last year, so we both had some issues the last couple of years.
We did have fun, though, when you made fun of his shoes.
Yeah, that was great. That was the highlight of the trip.
Yeah.
No, and we were eating hot wings together that I thought were the hottest hot wings on earth, and Ty's just putting them down like, these aren't even hot at all. It was great.
Yeah, he made you look really bad that night,
he
by
did.
the way.
Yes, you did, Ty. Yes, you did.
And then y'all clowned me for I was gonna go to bed, and then I saw my boss, and I went to find him. He laughed.
No, you dissed us. I mean, you did that on purpose.
You totally dissed
It's, I don't want to hang out with Pat and Landrum anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hang out with the cool people. Then all of a sudden, we run into you at the bar, and all of a sudden, oh, yeah, you want to come sit down with us.
Oh, yeah, Ty's holding court, and then he catches us out of the side of his eye, and he's like, oh, crap, they're down here.
Yeah.
We know how that goes.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever live that down, boys.
No, you won't.
You can't bull crap a couple of bull crappers.
Yeah, that ain't going to happen. All right, Ty, we'll get back to work, and let us know when you guys find a football coach.
All right, we'll do. Pat Lander, Conrad, Molly. Always good to talk to you. See you
All
later.
right.
Hit him
See
straight,
ya.
buddy.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you. He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, there's a fantastic event taking place this Thursday through the Saturday up in Coleman, and you can win VIP passes right now to the Coleman Oktoberfest. Again, that's going on Thursday through Saturday, and right now is your chance to win a pair of VIP tickets. You're going to want to text the keyword FEST, F-E-S-T, to 205-834-9450. Again, you're going to text the keyword FEST, F-E-S-T, to 205-834-9450. Each winner will receive an $80 value, which is going to be 2 tickets allowing entry to 3 VIP beer gardens, alcohol not included, as well as 2 commemorative steins and 2 $15 concession vouchers. So make sure you text in again, keyword FEST, F-E-S-T, to 205-834-9450. And for more information, go visit ColemanOctoberFestival.com. That's October with a K.
We will continue from Social Taco. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Come on by and see us. This is Jock's Three-Man Front. Appreciate Ty Richardson joining the program from Arkansas, giving us the very latest, what's going on there in the wonderful state of Arkansas and the Hog football program. How about that? SEC Football Media Days. For the first time ever, the SEC Conclave, that's basically what we do, get together. First time ever that it will be in the state of Florida. Very bizarre, guys. I'll be honest with you.
So here's my vote. I know we have the spring meetings, but we take the SEC Media Days and we move them to March, and we go to spring training. Just for this 1 year, if it's going to be in Tampa.
That'd be great.
No,
would love
we're
that.
definitely going to Busch Gardens. We go down there.
Is that in Tampa?
Yeah, they got a lot of
I've never been to Busch Gardens.
They
That'd
got
be
a
great.
couple of roller coasters I want to check out.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
So obviously Landrum's already planning on being there.
I was about to say, Landrum's planning on being there. Ty's got us a bar and a golf course. Landrum's got an amusement park.
I'm gonna rent a car.
RV?
I'll start driving like 5 days before.
You're gonna.
It's bizarre, guys. It's
It's out there.
Listen, Dallas was explainable. You understood that.
Yep. Yeah, Tampa does not
But
make.
Tampa? You tried to play a basketball tournament there, and the thing was half empty. It was horribly attended.
I just don't understand if you're going to go to the state of Florida. I would think Orlando maybe would be.
Heck, go to Jacksonville.
Or Jacksonville. You looking at all the roller coasters, Landrum?
Yeah, he's already booking his trip now.
Yeah, you can have my credential. I'll just go to Busch Gardens. Why don't they should have it at Busch Gardens. They should have something at Busch Gardens. I know
They're
they're
very
very
well
well
made.
Oh, yeah, like how the media parties and stuff. That'd be
Something.
great. That'd be awesome. Rent out the park for an afternoon.
Yeah.
I would be all for that.
Yeah, they very well may do that.
They got wildlife. You come up close to a hippo.
I just Tampa is just kind of far out there. Not quite what I was expecting, but credit to our very own Pat Smith, who, thanks to his wonderful knowledge of geography, had maybe pinpointed that.
Would you
a little
rather
bit
be in
earlier.
Tampa or Orlando?
Orlando. I want to go ride the teacups.
Yeah, I was told that it was Tampa. I was sworn to secrecy, so I kept it to myself because I got in a little trouble in Atlanta at SEC Media Days when I tweeted out something. So
Gary
yeah,
Stoken's the one that put that out there. It could be coming back here.
but I kind of decided to take the high road on this one, just like the whole Senate thing yesterday.
They're punishing all
Good
of
for
us
you,
because
Pat.
of you, Pat.
I keep secrets.
You keeping your Paul secrets.
Yeah, I am. I got a few more. Stay tuned.
President?